Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Commute with Hopi living in the city. Happy Monday. It is the 17th and it's a warmish 59 degrees outside. Not super warm, but still cooler than the weekend. Or warmer than the weekend, sorry about that. Because up north it was pretty chilly in the morning. We had to use our heaters to defrost our windshields. We actually shoveled some snow on Saturday.
A federal judge in Boston has scheduled a hearing this morning about what he calls serious allegations that Customs and Border Protection officials disobeyed his court order.
A doctor who was legally working in the U.S. has been sent back to Lebanon, and in a separate case, a German-born green card holder is being detained. And that's raising concerns about an immigration crackdown in Boston.
NPR's Tovia Smith has been following the story. So first, bring us up to date on the case of the doctor who was returned to Lebanon, whose case is being heard in court this morning.
Yeah, this is about Rasha Alloway, a kidney transplant doctor at a Brown University-affiliated medical group. She was here on an H-1B visa. That's the one meant for highly specialized workers. And she went to visit family in Lebanon, and when she returned, she was detained for 36 hours at Boston's Logan Airport and had her phone taken from her, according to her cousin. Her cousin was the one who got the federal court order barring officials from sending her back. And apparently her lawyers even made a frantic call to the airport control tower trying to stop the plane she was on. But they say officials, quote, willfully disobeyed the judge's order and sent her back anyway. We expect to learn more shortly from government lawyers in federal court this morning, but so far we've got just a preview from a spokesperson who said that officials use rigorous screening to help keep threats out of the country, is how they put it.
Okay, so now the separate case of the German-born green card holder. That's a different situation?
Yeah, in this case, Fabian Schmidt was detained for days when he tried to return to Logan Airport from a trip to Europe, according to his family. And officials suggest it's because he faced misdemeanor drug and DUI charges about a decade ago, and he was a no-show for a court hearing on his case. His family says that's because he never got the notice. But in this case, also, relatives say that Schmidt was mistreated in custody, violently interrogated, was how his mother put it when she spoke to GBH reporter Sarah Bedecore.
He had to go and be stripped naked and was showered by two officers with ice cold water. He was interrogated again.
Officials say the claims are, quote, blatantly false, without, however, saying specifically which claims. And they add, quote, when an individual is found with drug-related charges and tries to re-enter the country, officers will take proper action, they said.
And Tovia, all this comes as the Trump administration has been promising to take a hard line on immigration in general. What kind of reaction are you seeing to all of this in Boston?
Yeah, this is being seen as Trump making good on one of his central campaign promises, or threats, however you see it. And this was reiterated, by the way, by border czar Tom Homan just a few weeks ago when he specifically called out Boston for vowing to not help ICE enforcement officers.
I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me.
Meantime, those who oppose the Trump administration's hardline stance are also fired up. There's a protest planned for this evening to support the doctor who was sent back to Lebanon, as of course there have been other protests, including many around the nation this weekend in support of the Columbia student Mahmoud Khalil. He was taken into custody by officials who say his campus protest activities basically amount to a national security threat because they, quote, align with Hamas, which is a U.S. designated terrorist group.
first round of games actually starts tomorrow.
And it's time now for our another look at traffic, I should say, with John Roller in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Hey, a big shout out to the U of A Wildcats and the GCU Antelopes. They made the tournament, so we got some teams to follow. Yeah, we're excited about that. Hey, we're just getting underway on this Monday morning. Things not looking too bad. However, as we get a little closer to the 5:30 mark, that means more folks get their day underway. And if you are rolling down the highway, we do have a little bit of slowing now starting to build on the eastbound I-10 right at the 101 transition. Very normal this time of morning. And thanks to a listener this morning, heads up, we've got a crash in the Northwest Valley, 31st Avenue and Thunderbird if you're making your way over to the I-17. Crash involving a motorcycle, 91st Avenue north of Glendale. And we started the morning off with a rather serious crash. This with an extrication, 51st Avenue and Roosevelt. That is just south of the I-10. John Roller, KTAR News.
And taking a look at that forecast, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 83 today. The clouds leave sunny tomorrow with a high of 73, and then sunny and warming up to 82 on Wednesday. Weather brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Weather replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing.
Coming up at 5:30, as we still are looking for the killer of a 14-year-old girl from the San Carlos Apache tribe, the tribe throws up some big money to try and find her killer.
Right now, it's time to go to the Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical Sports Desk with Brandon King.
Q readings for the Arizona Cemetery. The vertical mausoleum is made of concrete, quartzite, and marble with a brutalist design, and the architects built it to take advantage of its iconic location.
It's profoundly of Hollywood and Los Angeles.
Michael Lair is one of the designers.
You've got 360 views, Hollywood sign, downtown. Today I was up there, you can see the ocean.
Ricardo Pentreath has already purchased his spot in the high-rise. His mother is buried in this cemetery. He wanted to be close to her. We visited his future resting place on the first floor.
Let's hope there is in about 40, 50 years from now. I understand that this marble is from Brazil, and I love Brazil. It's very appealing, and well, it's going to be easier to, when it's my time, to put me in.
The problem Hollywood...
Patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Check out what your neighbors are up to and find out more about their lives and livelihoods on the Amazing Arizonans podcast. Politicians, celebrities, sheriffs, secret agents, and more talk with Mike Broomhead, and you can sit in on the conversations on the KTAR YouTube channel, KTAR.com, or the KTAR News app. Amazing Arizonans, presented by Resolution Copper.
Hey, it's Mike Broomhead for Creative Environments, Design, Pool, Spa, and Landscape, celebrating 75 years here in the Valley.
Bows and arrows. So our people, including my great-grandmother, were herded like cattle from that area to old San Carlos.
That story, part of a week-long series on Oak Flat, is at 5:45 on KJZZ's Morning Edition.
KJZZ is supported by Solari Crisis and Human Services, offering confidential support with trained crisis specialists who can help with any situation 24 hours a day. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE, 44673.
Stay with us this morning at 9 for our original production of the show, and that's followed at 10 by Here and Now. Partly cloudy today in Phoenix, a high of 82 degrees. We have 55 degrees still in Phoenix right now at 5:30.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Dave Mattingly. President Trump says he believes there's a very good chance Russia will agree to a U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine. Trump says he plans to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow. Ukraine agreed to the ceasefire after meeting with a U.S. delegation in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Mediators from Egypt and Qatar are working to negotiate a new ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas designed to win the release of more hostages in Gaza. As NPR's Daniel Estrin reports, disputes remain on the number of hostages to be released.
Israel is demanding the immediate release of 11 out of the 24 living hostages still held in Gaza. The U.S. is calling for an exchange of hostages and Palestinian prisoners and an extension of the ceasefire for many weeks to try to reach a permanent end of the war. Hamas says it will release one living American-Israeli hostage, but is demanding immediate talks on permanently ending the war. Israel is not yet ready to commit to an end of the war, with Hamas still ruling Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he wants to fire his domestic intelligence chief because he has lost trust in him. The security chief has been a main proponent of a hostage release deal with Hamas. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
This is NPR News.
And in a check of news from KJZZ at 5:32, KJZZ's Voices of Arizona is a special segment where we shine a spotlight on everyday Arizonans who help make our state an extraordinary place to live. Many unhoused seniors struggle with memory loss, either due to the stress of their situation or possible dementia. KJZZ's Kathy Ritchie introduces us to a nurse caring for this population.
Amber Porter is a family nurse practitioner with Circle of City, which provides health care to the homeless. Today we are doing Memory Clinic. The Memory Clinic opened 7 months after researchers from ASU found that roughly 80 to 90% of older adults at Cass, the state's largest mass shelter, have some kind of cognitive impairment. That led to a partnership between the two organizations to see patients in a rapid fashion for a neurological evaluation. So we are doing Alzheimer's Society guidelines. Rapid is key because even with private health insurance and ample support, the average wait time to see somebody who would be able to do this kind of evaluation would be anywhere from 6 to 8 months, and we're seeing them in a week to 2 weeks. The Memory Clinic is open once a weekend, only for a few hours. But we have heard that there's been a need and an ask for us to expand this to other institutions that also serve older folks. So starting this week, the Memory Clinic will begin serving patients at the Parsons Family Health Center in Midtown. And it doesn't matter which shelter they entered, we are happy to see them and evaluate them for their cognitive decline. Kathy Ritchie, KJZZ News, Phoenix.
You can hear this story again on our website, kjzz.org, listening to Morning Edition.
Gilbert, it is 55 degrees.
This bill is simply about hiring the best and not checking boxes.
Senate Majority Leader Janae Shamp says a new bill in the state legislature would mandate that state public employees are hired based on merit rather than other factors like race or gender. The Republican tells the Mike Broomhead Show the people of Arizona deserve a government that hires people based on their skills, knowledge, and qualifications. Shamp says focusing on diversity in hiring is discriminatory.
Current Arizona law is very vague on what the requirements are to provide medical care.
That's Stephen Hansen with the Arizona Humane Society, who is among those supporting new legislation here that would crack down on an increase in animal abuse cases. He tells Arizona's Morning News it would update language in current state law to unreasonable suffering, which would allow for a quicker search warrant in cases of abused animals.
On education.
Arizona State University could be at risk of losing federal funding over alleged race-based practices.
The U.S. Department of Education is investigating ASU and 44 other universities. KTAR legal analyst Barry Markson says President Donald Trump signed an executive order outlawing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
They want the schools to provide equal opportunity to everyone. That you will get something or not get something, not based on your race or your sex, but based on your merit.
He adds the Trump administration is using Title IX, which has historically been used to promote diversity, to instead say achievements and admissions should be based on merit only. Heidi Hommel, KTAR News.
2 people died after a crash on the I-40 in Williams on Thursday. Christine Stanwood with our TV partners at ABC 15 has more.
DPS now says 22 vehicles were involved after a semi jackknifed blocking the highway. Then other vehicles, an additional 6 semis didn't brake or slow down in time. The collision caused a fire to spark, which troopers now say burned for more than 20 hours. At the time of the crash, the road was covered in snow and ice. We're told a total of 36 people were involved. 2 lost their lives. They've now been identified as Juan Beltran Sanchez of Chino Valley and Evelyn Davis of Ganado, Arizona.
You'll find plenty to do if you're planning to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the Valley.
That is sad. So you guys, I am going to stop the video here